is by extraordinary focus. So the focus to hold them in place, to be aware of what they're doing, and to nonetheless construct and move through the still world requires mental effort. Perceptually, everything is fluid. And I didn't realize that most people experience what they experience. There is no other. For me, everyone else is at best a sixth of my thinking. So, boys, girls, who knows? Who can say? Most dyslexics are not aware enough of their own thinking. Give you a quick example. Sorry to speak so much. Lewis Hamilton won the British GP yesterday. Now, he hadn't won it for 3 years. 3 years ago, when he won it, he had a 10-second pit lane penalty. He came in at the front of the field, 10 seconds in the pits, came out of the back of the field. 10 seconds separated the top 15 drivers in that race, and he came from the back of the field and won. And I wasn't even watching it, I saw it on the news, and I wandered into the gym the following day, and I went, is Lewis Hamilton dyslexic? And no one knew. So I came home, typed it in, Lewis Hamilton's dyslexic. Now, I'm an advanced driver, police trained, all the yada, 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 and there's a thing called the system of car control, and it's all about perception. And when I'm driving, I'm using, hold on. I'm using 8 mostly. So, yeah, I'm using 8 in their different configurations. So I know that my perception of the information about driving is coming to me from various different perspectives. I think everybody must do this because when you drive through a gap, surely you produce the pictures of the outside of your vehicle to know if you can get through the gap. I would have thought maybe not, but basically that's why Lewis Hamilton is a brilliant driver, because he's running on potentially multiple versions of reality.
Yeah. If I drive through a gap, I'll just instinctively think, can I fit through that or not? I won't be picturing things
So how do you
particularly.
know?
Well, you don't really. You
Okay, fair enough.
I either think you could get a tank through that, or I think you can't get through that. And it's more of a gut-based thing where, yeah, I definitely don't work with those pieces. It's interesting you say with the whole phonics way that we learn to write language and learn about our language, that, picture-based stuff is so much more power. And I wonder how much more powerful picture-based stuff would be for kids that are not neurodiverse, actually. I
Would you
think,
like a perspective on that?
yeah. And then we'll move on because there's something else I want to pick
Sure.
your brains on before. But give me the perspective on that for sure.
Perspective on that. So those attributes I read out were from the book called The Gift of Dyslexia. In that book, so I read that out to all neurodivergents, and all neurodivergents usually have at least 4 out of the 8. In the book, it goes on, talks about how our education system is about verbal reasoning. So you learn to read out loud at first, then you're told to read in your head. And so therefore, the way you process the world is limited to how fast you can understand words, which when they're sped up artificially is about 250 words a minute. I see movies, reconfigured movies, re-edited movies, all real time. That trying to compress that down into a stream of one set of words for a neurotypical, it's a nightmare. It's like a torrent. And it says in the book the visual thinking is between 400 to 2,000 times faster than verbal reasoning, which is everyone currently that thinks they're clever because they've got a degree, MBA,
Yeah.
PhD, whatever it is.
Yeah. It's interesting because Yanja Wintersoul is one of the world memory champions and most of the world memory champions, when they're given 600 random digits to remember in like 10 minutes. So how the hell are they going to do that? But they've got codes, well rehearsed codes, where the digits become incredible pictures that mean something to them, stimulate their emotions and senses. And it's why when they then recount the 600 digits, the ridiculous amount of digits they've learned in 10 minutes, when if you see a world memory champion, they never do it very quickly because they're now translating back all these pictures. And so they'll say 2, 4, it's really long. They don't rush it, but they get it absolutely bang on the money because they learn with pictures. So the world's best memory champions. And so perhaps that's something we should be teaching more. I mean, I'm not a fan of phonics. Seeing my boys struggle with phonics, not a big fan. They're not neurodiverse from what I can see, and they do okay at school, but it is very confusing, definitely. Tell me about your work today. Let's get on to that. I've really been interesting talking to you about dyslexia. It's not really a topic we've particularly covered in any depth on Men On Show. What are you working on today, and what drives you today?
So essentially, the last time I tried to change the world, which is essentially the only thing I'm ever interested in doing, um, because look, being motivated by money or sex or power, whatever, mate, have it all. I don't want it. I'm not interested. What I'm interested in, so I was explaining this to a guy at the gym this morning. I have 5 beliefs. I have other beliefs that are transient, but I have 5 core beliefs: equality, free will, the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few. Every day is a gift, and children are spectacular. And that's how I filter the world. Now, looking at the world as it is versus my belief systems, they're quite far apart. So, potency.world is my main project. And I've decided to, having volunteered in primary education, dispense entirely with secondary school. It is a new education design, and it is designed to create neurodivergence and maintain neurodivergence. So now this website talks about me and tells you about how much I charge. This website is about the project I'm going to create. This project is not to be sold off as an IPO. There's no $50 million payoff or 100 billion or how many billions you get from selling off. It's not about technology. It's about the operating system of the human brain. Education is pitiful. And I'm really sorry that so many people try so hard to make something wonderful out of something so restrictive. And it doesn't help people, it doesn't help teachers, it doesn't help employees, it doesn't help employers. In fact, the only people that seem to be helped by education are the providers of it, insofar as they're